Since we have learned the basic concept of eternity from last video, now we can learn about desires. Normally, people think eternity and desires are not related. But eternity actually plays an important role for understand desires, and I am going to show you why. Now we understand that eternity state has no feeling and nothing will happen there. And when we enter eternity state, our time will stop, but the world will still go on. For example, when a living being sleeps, that living being will not know what happened to the world. But when the living being wakes up, although it seemed like just a blink of an eye for that living being, but the time of the world doesn't stop there. The world will keep running with or without the existence of that living being. So why does eternity is related to our desire? It is because living being is very fragile. Living being can lose conscious very easily and may not come back to existence, which alternatively means death for a living being. Desire can only happen when the living being is awake and has a feeling. That is why many people who experienced closest call to death experience will cherish life more than others who do not have such experience. Some living beings are lucky because they can come back from closest call to death, but most of them did not make their way back. So this is basically what I had been through and is here to share my experience with you. Desire is just a need and a must of a living being, and it all starts with appetite. When a living being is born, first thing they need is food, and so desire of appetite is developed for survivability. And then as they grow, living being will store food as energy source, and food will never be enough when living being is alive, because living being constantly need to refuel their energy level to keep them alive. But source of food is the most difficult to find. Living being will constantly seek for more food as storage, and so desire of greed is developed when living being try to get more than what they need. Some greedy living being will steal from others, and this action develops desire of hate for the victim. The other desires beside from these are just basic needs for a living being. So this leads to a frequently asked question: should we get rid of greed and hate? My answer is no. Because I know eternity doesn't get any feeling, so I cherish every feeling I can have, including greed and hate, but only under one condition, which is harm no one. If the feeling of greed or hate doesn't affect others, then why feel bad about desires? But the term harm no one is actually a very difficult thing to do. It requires the sight of future, and I will share my experience in the future video. But in short, desires are the proof of being alive. If a living being is stupid enough to try to get rid of all their desires, it means they do not need anything, and it also means they do not need the world. They do not care about everything else. And once they abandon all desires, the world will alternatively abandon them, because the world don't care about them either. All they eventually get is just death. I call it stupid is because death will come to living being eventually anyway. So why would any living being seek for death when death is just a certain destiny of life? All animals in the wild understand this principle. And that is why they always stay strong and fight for their life even if they know they cannot escape from their predator. Animals will struggle to the last breath because they respect to their life and do not give life up easily. So if you ever feel weak and powerless, think about the wild animals, stay strong and struggle. It is your respect to the life you have. There are many secrets of life that I want to share with you, but I cannot conclude them all within one video, so please be sure to subscribe for future secrets of life contents. Once you learn all the secrets about purpose of life from me, you will have a higher chance to be relieved from all sorts of troublesome than others. And you can also help other people by sharing these videos content with them. These videos are free to the public, so please do not use these contents to make any profits. If anyone use these secrets for profit, their fate will be doomed.